many lovely headdresses. Yeah, leopard, cable, antlers. It's very and interesting.
Okay, let's put it on.
Haha, it's so beautiful.
Hey girls, look at this picture. What does it look like?
Like a man? It seems like we dressed up with these headdresses. That's right, Idia. Does that mean ancient people wear headdresses?
Yeah, look at this oracle bone script. Can you tell me which Chinese character is it now?
It's May Beauty.
You're so smart. Ancient people used feathers and horns to make headdresses, and they thought it's beautiful.
This is how beauty evolved. But May forms with Yang, Shi, and the Da big now.
In Shouwenjiezi, Mei is an ideographic character. People thought strong sheep is a symbol of wealth and beauty.
I see. Decorations are pretty. Having ample food and clothing also means good. There's so many beautiful things.
Yeah, everybody, what are beautiful things in our life?
The sky and flowers, the sea and the mountains. Beautiful dress and pictures, calligraphy and poems. They are too humorous to count, teacher.
Yeah, you're right. Our lives are full of beauty. You're beautiful too, my kids.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the class. Today, we are going to talk about the beauty of Chinese characters.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Professor Jiang, Professor Qiu. I'm very glad that today we can walk into the ancient and modern Chinese characters time gallery together.
Hello, everyone. As we know, China is a multilingual country, and the Chinese character is commonly used by the Chinese nation. It is the oldest written words of any language in the world, as the character stands for the symbol of a civilization. The emergence of Chinese characters marks the birth of the Chinese civilization.
Chinese characters are the important content of Chinese culture. The birth of Chinese characters means the birth of Chinese culture. Chinese characters are the crystallization of the wisdom and the precious culture wealth created by the Han nation.
That's right. Chinese characters are important Chinese cultural phenomena. First of all, the emergence of Chinese characters is the boundary of Chinese culture from prehistoric period to historical period. With Chinese characters, the Han nationality has written historical records. Secondly, Chinese characters are part of Chinese culture. According to the characteristics of the two-dimensional configuration of Chinese characters, the unique art of Chinese calligraphy and seal is formed. The cultural phenomena directly derived from Chinese characters make Chinese characters an indispensable part of the whole Chinese cultural system.
In all, the Chinese character stands for the main carrier of other Chinese cultural items. It is the code of the Chinese culture and has played a great role in promoting the development of Chinese culture. The Chinese character conveys people's minds and ideas.
The number of Chinese characters contained in Kangxi Dictionary is approximately 47,035. Although a large number of these are rarely used, variant accumulated throughout history. Studies have shown that full literacy in the Chinese language requires a knowledge of only between 3,000 and 4,000 characters.
In the Chinese writing system, the characters are morphosyllabic, each usually corresponding to a spoken syllable with a basic meaning. However, although Chinese words may be formed by characters with basic meanings, a majority of words in Mandarin Chinese require 2 or more characters to write, and their meanings are similar to or even completely different from the characters they are composed of.
In addition, many Chinese characters have been adopted by the Japanese and Korean to represent their native words. They are more for the semantic meaning, not the pronunciation. Therefore, I think it is necessary for us to go back and have a look at the origin of Chinese characters.
According to legend, Chinese characters were invented by Cang Jie, a bureaucrat under the legendary emperor Huang Di. The legend tells that Cang Jie was hunting on Mount Yangshu when he saw a tortoise whose wings caught his curiosity. Inspired by the possibility of a logical relation of those wings, he studied the animals of the world, the landscape of the earth, and the stars in the sky, and invented a symbolic system called Zi, means Chinese characters. It was said that on the day the characters were born, Chinese heard the devil mourning and saw crops falling like rain, as it marked the beginning of the world. This is just a legend. Professor Qiu, Professor Jiang, what is your opinion about the origin of Chinese characters?
It is generally believed that Chinese characters originated from pictures. However, up to now, we have not seen pictures and circle painting characters as the predecessor of Chinese characters in the unearthed cultural relics. So, it is difficult to determine the upper limit of the origin of Chinese characters.
According to the date we have, the earliest characters are those 20 or so carved symbols on tortoise shells and individual stone towers. They are unearthed in Jiahu, Wuyang of Henan, China, and dated back to about 6000 before Christ. It is in the early Neolithic period and can temporarily be regarded as the upper limit of the origin of Chinese characters.
Yes, in the last 50 or so years, inscriptions have been found on pottery in a variety of locations in China, such as Banpo near Xi'an, as well as on bone and bone marrows at Hualouzi, Chang'an County near Xi'an. These simple, often geometric marks have been frequently compared to some of the earliest known Chinese characters on the oracle bones, and some have taken them to mean that the history of Chinese writing extends back over 6 millennia.
There is no doubt that the oldest Chinese inscriptions in China is the oracle bone script. These were identified by scholars in 1899 on pieces of bone and turtle shell being sold as medicine, and by 1928, the source of the oracle bones had been traced back to modern Xiaotuan village at Anyang in Henan province, where official archaeological excavations in 1928 to 1937, discarded 20,000 oracle-bound pieces, about 1/5 of the total discard.
Their inscriptions were records of the divinations performed for or by the lower Shang household. The Oracle-bound script is a well-developed writing system confirmed by the late Shang dynasty. Only about 1,400 out of the 2,500 known characters of Oracle-bound script can be identified with later Chinese characters.
Thank you very much for the explanation of the origin of Chinese characters. About the historical evolution of Chinese characters, it is generally believed that it can be divided into two stages. One is from oracle-bound inscriptions to small seal script of the Qing dynasty. They are generally called ancient Chinese characters. Another is from official script of Qing and Han dynasties. They are generally called modern Chinese characters.
Yes, the important difference between ancient and modern Chinese characters is the formation of writing unit strokes. In the ancient writing stage, the writing units of Chinese characters were all kinds of lines, which were formed with the change of the shape of things. The Chinese characters composed of these lines had obvious graphic characteristics. In the period of the official script and the regular script, the writing units of modern Chinese characters are all kinds of strokes.
After natural development and artificial regularization, these strokes have gradually become fixed style, limited quantity, and standard writing. The original graphics of Chinese characters written by these strokes have been weakened.
As the previous two professors have said, the earliest Chinese characters that can be seen today are oracle-bound inscriptions of Yin and Shang dynasties. Since then, Chinese characters have gone through the bronze inscriptions, seal script, official script, and regular script. Can we take a look at some examples to understand the characteristics of Chinese characters in different periods better?
Okay, the oracle-bound inscriptions were mostly involved from pictographs, so its pictographs degree were relatively higher because they were carved on animal bones. The strokes were relatively thin, and the strokes were more straight. For example, oracle-bound writing Nan, this character means male. The left is Tian, it means farmland or field. The right is Li, it is the shape of an ancient agricultural tool. Working in the fields was the main duty of men in ancient times, so the symbol Nan was used to indicate men.
By this time, we can see that Chinese people create characters by its shape, meaning, and sound. That is to say, the pictographic, ideographic, and phonogram characters have since emerged. Can you give us some example?
All right. First are pictographs. For example, 日 is a round sun. 月 is a curved moon. 水 is like a stream. Niu especially highlighted the two horns. Second are ideographic characters. For example, 明, which is made up of 日 and 月, means bright. 淡 is to add a horizontal line below the 日, means the sun rises above the horizon. Third are phonogram characters. For example, the character 八 is the combination of the sound of 八 and the form of 父. The character 八 is a combination of 八 and 草.
In the late Shang Dynasty and the Western Zhou Dynasty, people carved Chinese characters on bronzeware because the bronzeware were represented by tripod and the musical instruments were represented by bear. Zhong and Ding, synonymous with bronzeware, so it is also called Zhongdingwen, compared with oracle-bound inscriptions. Inscriptions on ancient bronze objects have a higher degree of pictograph, and the writing lines are fat and thick.
In the later Western Zhou Dynasty, Chinese characters evolved into pixel characters. One is about line. The early lines of uneven thickness become even and soft, and the strokes are more concise and vivid. This lays the foundation of the Chinese square characters.
Later, Li Si, the prime minister of the Qing dynasty, changed the large-scale script to small-scale script. Because of its beautiful font, it has always been favored by calligraphers. Moreover, because of its complex strokes and can be add twists and turns at will, when people making seals, they always prefer small-scale script.
In addition to simplifying the shape of the large-scale script, the small-scale script has achieved a perfect degree of linearization and regularization. It is almost completely separated from the pictograph and becomes a neat, harmonious and beautiful rectangular square font. However, the small-scale script also has its own shortcoming. Its lines are very inconvenient to write with a brush. So almost at the same time, there came into being a flat square official script with its shape stretched out on both sides. By the Han Dynasty, official script had reached mature stage.
Later, the official script evolved into cursive characters. At first, it was called Zhang Cao.
Some believe that the name based on Zhang, meaning orderly, is due to the fact that this was a more orderly form of cursive than the modern form of cursive.
Yes, at the end of Han Dynasty, Zhang Cao changed the style of official script and connected the upper and lower strokes. The radicals were also simplified and borrowed from each other, which was called Jing Cao. In the Tang Dynasty, Jing Cao was more in free and easy style. The strokes were connected smoothly, and the characters were in changeable shape. So, it was called Kuang Cao, also known as Da Cao.
Subsequently, the integration of the official script and the cursive script and the self-contained regular script also known as Chu script, began to prevail in the Tang Dynasty and has been in use until now. Its shape is square and neat. The stroke is straight and more convenient to write. The typography we use today evolved from regular script.
Between the regular script and the cursive script is running script. It writes smoothly and uses the brush flexibly. It is said to be written by Liu Desheng in the Han Dynasty, and it is still used by us in our daily writing.
In Chinese characters, various fonts are formed in different historic periods and have their own distinct artistic features.
Through the history of oracle-bone inscriptions, seal script, official script, regular script, and other writing methods, Chinese characters, as the representative of the classical characters, have traveled 4,000 years to the present. It is a long distance, but it has also created a profound and broad Chinese civilization. Why can Chinese characters survive for thousands of years and remain so stable?
To find out the reason, on the one hand, as China has a vast territory and numerous dialects, text in the process of communication is very important to play a role of record. On the other hand, in the pre-Qing period, Confucianism highly developed. It became a classic and formed a regularized and unalterable tradition of text transmission.
The imperial examination system holds the Confucian classics on slimes. This system strengthens the unshakable position of the classics and also the respect of scholars to the classics. The classics are recorded by Chinese characters and are unchangeable.
The imperial examination system kept the transmission of Chinese characters relatively stable. When the first Chinese characters were created and recorded on bones, metal, stone, bamboo slips, and paper, in each dynasty, the writing lines were heavy and simple, flying and graceful, solemn and grand, or willfully and unrestrained, which completed the most concentrated expression of aesthetics in each era.
Yes, today we have a deep awareness of the ancient beauty of Chinese characters. About the beauty of Chinese characters, Lu Xun once said that it has three beauties. The sound is beautiful to hear, the form is beautiful to see, and the meaning is beautiful to feel.
That's right. As the root of the Chinese nation and the symbol of its civilization, Chinese characters serve as the bridge to connect the history, the present, and the future. The fonts of Chinese characters are full of beauty, which lies in the distant past. The ingenious shaping and aesthetic calligraphy.
Calligraphy is the ultimate embodiment of the beauty of Chinese characters. The beauty of calligraphy will be discussed in the next section.
That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
See you next time.